Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy virtual studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Wednesday, the epicenter of yet another very busy broadcast week, and also April 1st. It's April Fool's Day, and as you guys can see from the headline of today's show, the joke is on us this April Fool's Day in 2026. Global energy lockdowns start today. In a very unprecedented development, multiple world leaders are addressing their nations about the tough times coming ahead because of the contrived crisis they've created, the energy crisis due to the war in Iran and other acts of self-sabotage. Only they're sabotaging us, not themselves. So today, as you can see, global leaders are addressing their nations about heightened geopolitical tensions and critical energy and security issues. We have President Donald J. Trump will be addressing the United States of America tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer addressed his nation. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and also India's Narendra Modi has chaired a top-level, high-level security meetings. Now, all of these corrupt leaders have created this crisis. Make no mistake. Now they'll try to use it to try and lock us down again, circa 2020, only this time, instead of a fake pandemic, they're going to use a fake energy crisis. But the crisis is real. They are going to reduce the supply of oil. They're going to pump up the price of oil, and there will be all sorts of ramifications from the military actions in Iran, which, by the way, is not a war, said Mike Johnson with a straight face. I don't know if you saw that clip. We have it here today. We'll play it for you in just a moment. Mike Johnson with a straight face in front of a bunch of cameras saying, we're not at war. This is not a war. So the troops that are flying out, that are, landing in Iran, all of the bombs and the footage, it's not really a war. Is that what you're saying? He's defending the president, saying that he doesn't need congressional approval to wage this war in Iran. But they're destabilizing the entire world on purpose. And in the same way that they tried to destabilize the entire world on purpose with their fake pandemic, only this time they're using energy, and they are going to lock us down again. The rhetoric is there. The incoming global energy lockdown and massive social and economic pain begins today, as one by one, our global leaders instruct their populations to lock down once again, as I mentioned, this time because of the crisis in Iran and energy shocks. Now, this is from Brownstone Institute. A headline, lockdowns are incoming. And, they're saying that the writing is on the wall, and we're seeing it on all of the headlines. And so, yeah, joke's on us. We have other insane headlines today to get to on the SJ show. So we're going to cover this in depth, along with seriously insane headlines like Crazy Town USA. We live in Crazy Town USA. I don't know what to tell you guys. It is not my fault that our leaders are crazy, like megalomaniac, control freak lunatics who are losing their minds. Donald Trump included. In fact, the circus clown in chief, Alex Jones, even Alex Jones is dumping Donald Trump. I have that clip today as well. He's saying that it's time to cut bait on Donald Trump because, well, he's lost his mind. And he has lost his mind. We have other headlines about Trump losing his mind. I mean, it seems like the further he gets pushed into a corner, the crazier he gets. The less his lies work, the crazier he gets. And now it's like, they are frantically like plastering his name all over everything. Trump all over the dollar. He's renamed the Palm Beach International Airport the the President Donald J. Trump Airport. I don't know if you guys saw the reveal, and we'll play this for you a little later in the program, of the Trump library, but Trump Jr., after intensive labor to create a AI generated rendering of the Trump library, he released it yesterday. It looks like a giant syringe, okay? It looks like a giant needle, which is completely appropriate for this president, Vax Daddy Trump, the guy who never met a COVID shot he didn't love, super proud of his Operation Warp Speed and poisoning 200 million Americans. So appropriate that his library is going to look like a giant, menacing syringe, along with, inside the syringe, a nice little golden statue of Donald Trump himself, right? Because he's crazy. He's always been crazy. And I've been telling you guys this for 10 years on deaf ears. Unfortunately, I think I've been proven right. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about today on the SJ Show as we read the headlines and hold on for dear life, white knuckled on the roller coaster that is the year 2026. So buckle up. I am so proud to be with all of you guys today. Inez Annie Cyrus is producing the SJ Show. Of course, we're broadcasting live on Rumble. We're live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV. Loving the chatters on Substack. Great to see you. We are live on Substack. We're live on Twitter. We're having a lot of feedback and commentary from our Substack audience and the Twitter chat as well. So if you're watching on Substack or Twitter, say hello. I'd love to say hello to you if you have questions or comments or critiques. We already have a troll on the Rumble live chat. Let's get right to it. KMF 1776. Shannon, you are the joke. Well, I don't think so. I think the joke is on us. I think that it's becoming quite apparent that the rug pulls are going to be the name of the game for the foreseeable future. And, I joke about it, but it is very serious in terms of what they have in store for us in lockdowns. So it's going to look different. It's not going to be exactly the same, 6 weeks to slow the spread. What was it? No, it was 6 feet social distance, 2 weeks to flatten the curve and slow the spread. All of the messaging about masking and locking down and taking care of grandma and keeping people safe. Like, that was the messaging of 2020. It's going to be different in 2026, but the impact is going to be the same. So I'd like to ask you guys, have you seen any messaging across the headlines and on social media? As I mentioned, we have 3 major addresses on the same day, April Fool's Day, which is unusual. It's unprecedented. And obviously President Donald Trump, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and also the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. They're all talking about scarcity. They're all talking about tightening our belts and preparing for the worst. I have some of their statements, but what have you seen? I mentioned yesterday in the show, Denver, New York City, now beginning to implement energy lockdowns or slowdowns. We're seeing, obviously major actions coming from Australia as they seek to lock down. It's bad. It is not good. So yeah, we have to buckle up. We have Dan Roach on Substack. Great to see you, Dan. Can anyone fake the level of narcissism we see in Trump? It is a sight to behold. A sight to behold. He is unlike anything that we've ever had in terms of a presidency. We touched on that yesterday, but not good. Not good. Let's go to the live chats. Again, Annie is keeping an eye on Substack and also the Twitter chat. So if you're on Substack or Twitter, so glad that you're here. Please give us a like, a thumbs up, a comment, and a share. That helps to grow the SJ Show on those platforms. But on the live chat on Rumble, it's great to see you guys. Ralph the Flying Dutchman is with us, the very first chatter of the day. Great to see you, Ralph. Fearless Rose in USA. Be sure to put an I did this sticker featuring Donald J. Trump on every gas pump. This is his doing and he needs to own it. Absolutely. He needs to own it. We have CJP Rumble on the live chat. CM 1968 is with us. Zen Woman, great to see you. Good morning, peeps. I was number 6 on the thumbs up today. Great, good to see you. Ralph the Flying Dutchman with us. Yeah, I don't know. Ollie Robin 9, great to see you. Mark the Regan, it is Trump's greatest betrayal, 100%. Live Free or Die 1913. You're looking great as always, Shannon. Keep on keeping on with the truth. Thank you so much, Live Free or Die. I so appreciate you. Had a little bit of a hair issue today, but I think we worked it out. And as you know, I'm independent. So I'm hair, makeup, wardrobe, tech. I'm the maintenance lady, the accountant lady, the marketing lady, the show prep lady, you name it. Thank God I have Inez Annie Smith or Inez Annie Cyrus with me every day to produce the show. Be My Valentine Nebuchadnezzar went insane after his golden statue idol history repeats itself. Yes, it does. There's nothing new under the sun. We've been dealing with megalomaniac, control freak, lunatic presidents and mad kings since, well, the beginning of time. So this is nothing new. But we do have to take seriously what is coming. And we're going to look at the Brownstone Institute piece about what we're going to see in lockdowns. There is another in the new energy lockdowns. In the show notes of today's show, I have a lot of important stories. The energy lockdown drumbeat begins. That is the piece from Brownstone Institute. Jeffrey Tucker also had another piece in the Epic Times. Price controls incoming. So wage controls, price controls. We're probably gonna see rationing, brownouts, blackouts, a slowdown in supply line, and of course, skyrocketing prices for everything. That's what we're going to deal with. That is what is incoming. It is not a golden age. And it's really interesting that so many who supported Trump thought he was a capitalist, thought he was a businessman, thought he was a free market kind of guy, a guy that was for the little guys, right? And amazingly, in the second year of his presidency, because of the actions he's taken in terms of his aggression with Iran, an unwanted war in Iran, the tariff actions, the profligate spending, the big, beautiful bill. I mean, he is printing money hand over fist. He is going to be the single, I would say, worst debt spending president in American history when he's done. So all of this is at the hands of Donald Trump. We have plenty of blame to lay at the feet of Joe Biden, of course. Democrats and Republicans work together to destroy the country, rip apart our Constitution, and steal the American dream from the American people. That is the fake two-party political system that has divided us so hopelessly over the past 30 years that they're just running away with the piggy bank. But Donald Trump, I mean, it's interesting that his actions in, the first year, 12 to 14 months of his presidency are going to lead to basically communism and fascism, right? Wage and price controls, major control over the economy. As I mentioned, rationing, brownouts, blackouts, lockdowns. And the worst aspect of this is the privatization of the US government and the monopolization of the industries and corporations that are tethered to the US government. So those are elements of fascism, right? Where you can't distinguish between the government and the private sector. But it's not the free market private sector. It is the crony corporations and the military industrial complex, the healthcare industrial complex, the educational industrial complex, all of that private business tethered to the government to the point where you can't even distinguish between the two of them. So Trump is bringing us communism and fascism, which is the complete opposite of what he promised his constituents and what they believed he would bring. It's breathtaking to behold. When I call him a Trojan horse, I mean he's a Trojan horse. And none of this is good, but it looks like the rose is off the bloom. It looks like, I mean, when Alex Jones jumps ship, you know that Trump is on his way out. What is going to come after Trump, who the next puppet will be, well, we're just going to have to wait and see. But it's crazy. It is crazy. We have more comments from Substack and YouTube. Hey, YouTubers, great to see you as well. We're also growing on YouTube. Arthur, Arthur says everything that 47 does is predictable. The one and only thing that 47 cares about is himself. He is the perfect puppet predator. I think that's a great way to describe Donald Trump as a puppet and a predator. I do not believe that Trump is the guy making all of the decision. I don't even think there is one guy making all the decisions. I think we're dealing with very powerful factions, global oligarchs, and families with enormous amounts of wealth. And they funnel that wealth through all sorts of financial shelters and trusts. We've got a peek at how this works with Jeffrey Epstein and the emails between Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates. They are very interested in pandemics for profit and wars for profit. They have no regard whatsoever for humans, human beings, human liberty, human thriving. We the people. They are loyal to no nation. They have no allegiance to principles or founding documents or guiding documents like a constitution or a Magna Carta. And they operate above nation states and presidents. And they control through a variety of measures. I mean, we saw with Jeffrey Epstein, they use coercion, they use blackmail. Sometimes they'll just pay you off. They'll give you a ton of money. They'll work you into their system. But it seems as if they have reached the epitome of their control over Western democracies primarily. And so this is largely why we probably see Donald Trump, Keir Starmer, Anthony Albanese, and all of the Western democracies that fell to the lockdowns of 2020 now begin to use the same rhetoric and the same tactics and techniques for the new energy lockdown. So there is something up there guiding a lot of this. I don't think that Trump is completely in control, but I do think he is the plunder president and the predatory president. So he's going to play his role and he is going to suck out. He's going to pump and dump all the way down. He's going to engage in insider trading. He is going to shove contracts into his family coffers. He is going to work a deal so that he can essentially become the king of Gaza. This is an unbelievable story that we covered last week with Patrick Wood on how Donald Trump, through a variety of mechanisms, is setting up what appears to be a technate, a dictatorial region in Gaza that he essentially is the king of. And he is commanding troops. He has a private army that they're contracting with. He's created his board of peace, which he is the leader of, and he appoints all of the lifetime members of the Board of Peace. I'm sorry, he appoints the members of the Board of Peace, but he is the head of the Board of Peace, and he has a lifetime membership, making him a dictator. And then he also has a financial structure, a currency structure through USD1, which is his version of the new digital dollar. And so they're engaging in meme coin schemes, crypto schemes. I mean, you name it, everything. So that makes this president one of the most brazenly corrupt presidents of my lifetime and probably in US history. Biden did the same things, and so did the Bushes, and so did the Clintons, I'm sure, right? But they at least hid it, right? They at least tried to hide it. What we're seeing from Trump is blatantly illegal, unconstitutional, immoral. It violates antitrust laws. It violates so many laws and statutes no one is enforcing. And it's quite breathtaking to watch. So, Arthur, I agree with you. He is the perfect puppet president for sure, or predator. On YouTube, Live for Jesus said, COVID was a trial run for what is coming. The big question is, are we going to fall for it? The lockdowns are coming. Are we going to take it? Are we going to allow ourselves to be locked down is the big question. What do you guys think? Are you going to allow yourself to be locked down? Now, there are going to be things they'll be implementing which will be out of our control. If they turn off power grids, if they slow down power grids, if they slow down you know, bandwidth and speed. I mean, all of that stuff is on the table, I think. And there are going to be things that we are not in control of. But ultimately, there will be things that they are going to ask us to do that we can say no to, that we will be able to say no to. And we just have to be prepared for that. A war for peace, says Ollie Robin 9. I love that. Ollie Robin 9 says, our sheriff here says he'll abide by the Constitution. Well, good. Good, good, good. Ollie Robin, the whole thing is fascistic now. Trump killed the independent business owners. Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that the Trump presidency is more fascistic than it is communistic because of the public-private partnerships and what they call privatization. It was this scheme that they implemented through Doge when they said, oh, we're going to streamline everything and make everything efficient and privatize things. Like that was code. People thought that meant that we were empowering the free market. But that's not what that meant. It meant that they were basically pulling the free market into governmental positions, operating privately outside of the scope of we the people, right? When it's a private corporation doing it, it is much harder to scrutinize what they're doing. That's what we're seeing with the Trump ballroom, right? Because it's privately funded, at this point, it appears we can't have oversight over the military complex that they are building underneath the ballroom, the data center, the bunker, and the military complex, right? Try getting a FOIA request honored when it's a private contractor. Much more difficult than it is to get a FOIA request honored from a government agency. But they're taking everything out of the government agencies. And believe me, I'm not a big government person. I am about very small government, localized government. I actually think that Washington, D.C. should just go away. I don't think we need it. I think it's a corrupt enterprise entirely. I think that we should go back to local government control and the republic, which is state control with a very, very teeny, teeny, tiny, small federal government that does basically nothing. But in order to do that, we have to understand the times that we live in. And rather than focusing incessantly on a presidential election every 4 years, we need to begin the work of bottom-up organization. And we're seeing that happening across the country. So it's good. That aspect of it is pretty good. And yes, of course, the fake alien invasion that's coming too, the hoax. I mean, we have insane headlines to go over today. Insane headlines. So we're going to look. Here is the agenda for today. We have a Whitney Webb piece. She doesn't trust Joe Kent. And I mentioned yesterday that I don't trust the whole Joe Kent thing as well. And she pushed out a statement explaining exactly why she doesn't trust this new version of opposition to Donald Trump, the one that is being filtered through Joe Kent. And we're going to look at that today in just a moment. So this is a good piece. We are going to look at the Brownstone Institute piece on energy lockdowns incoming and whether or not we're going to abide by them. And then we're also going to take a look at what are those energy lockdowns going to look like. Mike Adams, Health Ranger, just posted out on Twitter that his company just got a force majeure letter today. Force majeure means the shit has hit the fan. And we can't promise you we're going to deliver on anything contractually that was put in place before this date. So it's used in all sorts of energy industries. It's basically when global stability is so precarious and you know the situation is so unstable, companies are now issuing what they call force majeure letters. And he just got one from Airgas, the helium supplier. And this is for the food science labs where they have multiple mass special instruments that use helium. Helium is used in a variety of ways, especially in labs. And we're going to take a look at this is the beginning of what I think we're going to see over the next couple years as they create this manufactured slowdown of our economy. We're going to see essential versus non-essential. We're going to see all sorts of things, I think, coming, and it's going to begin to come fast. Very interesting that it's happening on April Fool's Day. Again, the joke's on us. And then we do have insane headlines. Insane headlines. Kristi Noem's husband is a tranny, apparently. And yeah, other absolutely insane headlines. You can't make it up. You just can't make it up. So we're going to hit all of this today on the Shannon Joy Show. And of course, we're going to go back to the live chat as well. But first, we're going to take a quick break and thank our sponsors. Please remember that the Shannon Joy Show is completely independent, and the only revenue that we have coming in predominantly is through our sponsorship. So we have amazing sponsors. Obviously, Peter Schiff over at Schiff Gold, the Wellness Company, an amazing sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, the Satellite Phone Store, and of course, Don Polano of PCM and Associates, who is my financial advisor. So as we go to commercial break, I know everyone wants to tune out and know it's a commercial, but please remember that these are amazing companies that I've curated. I'm very picky about who I take on as long-term advertisers. A lot of them have been with me for many, many years. And it is because of their sponsorship that we can keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. So if you're in the market for anything that is being offered from our sponsors, please consider it. And make sure you use the promo codes and you use the landing pages that we push out, because that's how they know that we sent you. So quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Dr. Kelly Victory is actually battling breast cancer right now, which is absolutely tragic, but it is her story, and she's going to tell her story in just a couple weeks. And she's one of the people that you would never, ever, ever see it coming. She did everything right? She exercised, she ate very clean, she avoided processed foods, she had zero symptoms when she went in for a routine mammogram in 2023. And she walked out of that mammogram with a diagnosis of aggressive cancer that could have been fatal, actually, if it was found later. So it revealed a hard truth for Kelly. Even healthy people get cancer. And it exposed a much bigger issue. Most modern medicine is reactive and not preventative. You wait for a scare until you start to care. And every day, our bodies, as you all know, are under constant pressure from vaccines, as we know, stress, toxins, inflammation, and immune strain. The damage builds quietly over time, year after year, until disease starts to form. So we've talked about all types of ways to treat and prevent cancers. We've talked about ivermectin. We've talked about fasting. We've talked about, as you know, avoiding vaccines. That's one of my main preventative measures when it comes to cancers. But Dr. Kelly Victory asks a different question. What can we do to daily support, or what can we do daily to support the body before something goes wrong? Now, this led her to formulate a product called Shield. So Shield is a two-part natural system. It's designed to support immune balance, antioxidant defense, and cellular health. Exactly the systems that you want to keep very strong to live a long, healthy life. In the morning, you drink a high-dose nutraceutical cocoa mix. Then with food, you take the soft gels. With ingredients like medicinal mushrooms, turmeric, green tea, olive leaf, berberine, and black cumin seed oil, Shield gives your body the tools it needs to keep your cells healthy. So right now, for the Joy audience, if you go to twc.health/joy, that's twc.health/joy, and use the promo code JOY, you'll get 10% off plus free shipping on all orders for U.S. residents. That's twc.health/joy, and make sure you use the promo code JOY to get 10% off plus free shipping. And by the way, you can use the promo code JOY for all of your purchases at twc.health/joy. They always have a discount for the Joy audience, and we are so thankful for their sponsorship. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. In just a minute, in the next segment, we're going to look at this piece from Brownstone Institute about the new energy lockdowns incoming. So many similarities to what we saw during the COVID lockdowns of 2020. The big question today is, are you going to comply? And I can tell you point blank right here in the studio today, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to not comply with any of it. So we're going to get that a little bit later in the program, but let's hit some headlines today. Again, we're live on Substack and Twitter, also Facebook, YouTube, and of course here on Rumble. And we're keeping an eye on the live chat, but the headlines are just frankly insane. Like, unfortunately, they are not April Fool's jokes at all. This is from the AF Post. Alex Jones now saying that Trump has lost his mind. So this is Trump's number one circus clown. Okay, this is the Trump humper in chief. This is Alex Jones. And when Alex Jones goes, I don't know where Trump is going to go. He says Trump has lost his mind and Trump is not the man he was last year, stating that we need to be really sad about this. This is not funny. This is not good, but he's gone. He's lost his mind. It's over. We have to cut bait, according to Alex Jones. And this is actually what he said. We need to cut bait on Trump. This is from RT. He says Trump looks sick, not doing too hot, needs to mobilize against the neocons and Democrats. Oh, Christians are reawakening everywhere, says Alex Jones. Trump is a minor figure in that. Okay, so Alex Jones is not, he was wrong about everything. Wrong about everything. Trump humping from day one. And then after critiquing Trump for so long regarding the lockdowns of 2020, he fed Trump back to his audience again after one betrayal after another. So anyone buying anything from Alex Jones is crazy, crazier than Donald Trump. But this is an indication that Alex Jones has lost control of the base. He's lost control of the market. This means that Fox News and Alex Jones and Mark Levin and Sean Hannity and all of the Trump humpers out there in conservative media have lost control of their people. No one is buying it anymore, and this is why they're all pivoting. That doesn't mean you need to trust them, but you just need to understand. And I have a video of this as well. It's crazy. So Alex Jones is out. Watch everyone else leave as well. This is from Fox News. Former DHS secretary, I shouldn't be laughing at these, but they're crazy. Former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is asking for privacy and prayers tonight. She is said to be devastated by reports alleging her husband has been living a cross-dressing double life. And the pictures are insane. The guy took pictures of himself in boob suits and dresses, cross dresses on a regular basis. These people are nuts. I don't think that there's any way, shape, or form. I don't buy this. That she's shocked. There is no way that Kristi Noem was vetted and approved to be the DHS secretary. I mean, do you know the background checks and the vetting that they do for cabinet positions of that stature? There is no way that they didn't know that Kristi Noem's husband was a tranny. There's just no way. And I guess, what is there a difference between a tranny and a crossdresser? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's going to become a tranny now. Who knows? But they knew. I think, honestly, we're going to wait and see how they obtain these pictures. But this might be a message or a signal to anyone in a position of power or any elected official or anyone out there who might want to be out of line, that they have files on you, and those files are deep. And they have files that will impact your family, not just you. So I think that this is why I say to everyone, my children, I say, keep your nose clean. Everything is surveilled these days. Everything you do on the internet, I hammer this into my children. Every single thing that you do, every correspondence, every text, every email, every chat room, everything you buy, everything you look at. The way they surveil on the internet is so sophisticated that they can actually, like, they can time how fast or how long it takes for you to swipe on the screen. In certain cases, they can monitor your pupils. They can see like how engaged you are in certain situations or with certain videos or media. So it is so important to it, if you're going to do it online, make sure you do it in front of Jesus. That's what I tell them. I'm like, if you won't do that in front of Jesus, don't do it on your phone and don't do it on your computer. Period. Because all of it is surveilled. All of it is surveilled. So our thoughts and prayers are with Christine. Matt Gaetz, this is insane. Annie, whenever you come back, she had to run. By the way, Annie Cyrus is producing the SJ show today in, I think she has a tornado watch or a hurricane watch, or there's some wild weather. Is it tornadoes? Yeah, tornadoes in Ohio. And of course, Annie Cyrus, the best producer ever in the history of the world, produces through the tornadoes. So she had to step away for a moment. But we have some of the videos here, the Matt Gaetz video. So the alien thing is happening again. The alien hoax is incoming. And they pushed it out hard yesterday with Matt Gaetz. I mean, you can't even make this up. By the way, if any of you fall for the alien hoax, I'm going to get in my car and drive to your house and slap the stupid out of you because they keep resurrecting this over and over. It's absolutely absurd. But this expert, Stephen Greer, do not fall for the alien hoax, please. UFO expert Stephen Greer is now warning that rogue actors inside the government are now on the verge of staging a fake alien invasion across the entire planet. He says the operation would be so advanced that it could easily deceive most of the world, including top government officials, apparently including former Representative Matt Gaetz. Okay. Now, Stephen Greer says that the goal of all of this is to manufacture fear, of course, and justify a one world government with unlimited power, zero accountability, blah, blah, blah. We know why they do this, right? The war in Iran, the deadly worldwide pandemic, and aliens, okay? But he is saying that their ability to hoax an attack on the planet is real, that the technology is there. And hey, especially if they black us out and brown us out and then get all the drones out. I mean, some of the drone coordination, if you've seen the drones work in tandem, it's pretty spectacular. They featured it on America's Got Talent last year, and it was pretty wild. But you could see, I mean, I don't want to believe that the whole world could actually fall for an alien invasion. But given what we've seen with the lockdowns of 2020, people wearing filthy masks, like double, triple masks over their faces, the images of people putting up plastic barriers and sticking their arms through so they could hug loved ones during it was insane what people did during the pandemic. But there are a whole host of people that didn't buy it at all enough, right? So you don't want to believe that the entire planet could actually be hoaxed by a fake alien invasion. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, here's the deal. From my perspective. If aliens invade our planet, you'll know it. Okay? You don't need a fat, sweaty, corrupt politician telling you that the aliens are coming. You're going to know it, right? Like you'll actually experience it. So let's just get prepared for all of this. Matt Gaetz, Annie, do you have the Matt Gaetz? This is with Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson, there are so many shysters and like just flat out charlatans out there in media. Benny Jones is like the next it is Benny Johnson is like the next Alex Jones. And he looks absurd in this, but let's just see what with a straight face, this guy, he told Benny Johnson that there is classified congressional briefing by a uniformed U.S. officer that there is an alien hybrid breeding program. And they pushed that out yesterday, along with a bunch of other alien propaganda all over the internet. And I'm just here to tell you, be prepared because the hoax is coming. But this is what Matt Gaetz had to say about the aliens.
I think the most important information will be the biologics that are not human that have been discovered. And like even some of the briefings that aren't classified just need to be out in the public. I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
Yeah, I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military.
I've seen enough. So Matt Gaetz, so some guy came into my office. Yeah, in my office down in Florida, some guy, and he had a real uniform on, and it was unclassified. And you see how seamlessly Matt Gaetz went from classified briefings in Washington D.C. to unclassified. A guy came into my office and sat down and told me about alien hybrid breeding. Like, this is so obviously propaganda. This is so obviously fake. And so again, if any of you, seriously, none of you in this audience are allowed to fall for this. I won't allow it. This is absolutely ridiculous. And yes, Mama C 1996, Benny is so slimy. Benny is another one of the so-called conservative Christian commentators joining Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, you name it, that laundered the dark character and the grotesque character of Andrew and Tristan Tate. They are self-admitted pimps and predators. They are self-admitted rapists. They abuse women on camera, and they're under indictment in 2 countries for dozens of counts of sexual assault, sexual assault of a minor, sex trafficking, rape, abuse, money laundering, criminal activity, you name it. And Benny Johnson, claiming to be the good Christian man, right, that he portrays to his audience, had these horrifying predators on his program and lied for them and helped them lie to his audience. And so did Tucker Carlson, and so did Alex Jones, and a whole host of others in so-called conservative media. That's my litmus test. My litmus test is the Tate test. If you had him on your show, Candace Owens included, there's no way they didn't know how horrifying. Hundreds of hours of videos of these guys beating women, abusing women, demeaning women, talking about how to pimp women and run pornography business is horrifying. Horrifying. So no one in this audience is allowed to fall for the alien hoax because it's absurd. It's absurd. And they have these classified briefings because, well, they have nothing. There's no there. There's nothing for them to show to us. Again, remember, if there's an alien invasion, you will know it, okay? So let's just leave it at that. The alien thing, man, has been around forever, by the way. I'm going to have to tell you all my story about Cookie and Alien Club. I kid you not. Am I going to have time for this? Okay, I am. Because when we come back, we'll get into the meat. We'll get into the Brownstone piece and also the Whitney Webb piece. But before we go to break, so this is a true story. The alien thing, and I see, Be My Valentine, aliens equal demons. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Mark the Regan, aliens from outer space, definitely another psyop. Do any of you believe in the aliens? Mark the Regan, nevertheless, I thought the X-Files was great. It was a great program, but a lot of predictive programming for sure, don't you think? We have Dan Roach on Substack with some comments. And we have Jennifer L. Pelton on Substack. Great to see you. Glad that you're with us on Substack. We have Eric Madsen on YouTube. Hey, Shannon, I moved from Rumble to YouTube. Be safe, Annie. Prayers for Christy. Live for Jesus on YouTube says, we as a country have become Sodom. Yes, very interested in what you guys have to say on the live chats. Benny on the block from Iowa. It's crazy. Was pretty personal back in the day, but he has gone down to be with the bottom feeders. I know, it's very sad. Sam Miller 123. I'm thinking that the aliens could be artificial intelligence capable of being possessed by evil entities. Let's not forget about CERN and them being able to open portals. Well, listen, there are no aliens. I'll just tell you that point blank. They will try to hoax us and make you think there are aliens, and there will be people who try to make you think that the aliens are demons and the demons are all powerful. As a Christian, as you know, we have dominion over demons, the spiritual world, right? As a Christ believer. And so we are not called to be afraid of demons. We're not called to be afraid of aliens. We're not called to be afraid of any of the AI things that they're going to send at us and try to frighten us with. We are not to lead with a spirit of fear, but with one of power. So I urge you today, do not be afraid of the aliens. And I don't know if I was on RT. I don't think so, Mark the Regan. Was I on RT? I might have been. I've been pushing out a lot of shorts, so they might have picked up something. Let me know, Mark the Regan, if we were. And oh no, poor Welsh farmer. I saw Shannon Joy on Russia Today. She had held her ground. It was against two war cheering dummies. Good stuff. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yes, I went on a show. I didn't know it was on RT. It was with Scotty Nell Hughes. And I have a guy that books me on shows from time to time. And yeah, I went up against these two warmongering, right-leaning radio hosts. And yeah, I mean, they were justifying Trump's war in Iran. So thank you, poor Welsh farmer. That's pretty interesting. Sam Miller 123. I agree. No aliens, just evil entities. Well, I think evil humans. I think evil humans can be possessed with very evil spirits and do absolutely horrifying things. I mean, we are witness to it, right? We don't need classified briefings. We don't need Matt Gaetz on Benny Johnson talking about the guy who came to his office and told him about aliens and hybrid breeding programs. We see what they did to us in 2020. We see what they did to souls in nursing homes, isolating them from their families, many of them dying of broken hearts. We see what they did to us in terms of injecting millions, hundreds of millions of people with poison and never helping them, never acknowledging it, never admitting it. They don't care. They will break our bodies. They will break our culture and our society. They don't care. They're perfectly horrifying. And I only think that evil could be behind that. So anyway, the story of we're going to get to the Whitney Webb piece about Joe Kent in just a minute. But yeah, Cookie. Yeah, thank you, Annie, for reminding me about Cookie and Alien Club. Like this stuff has been around for a very long time. When I started my show, this is a true story. Devastatingly Handsome Dr. Joy will tell you. We got a lot of laughs out of this story years ago. So I was probably the show is 12 years old. I started my show in a double wide trailer in a cornfield 12 years ago. It was a tiny little radio station. I did a live show at noon, audio only. And I'm doing my show about a year in. I'm researching a lot of things. And it was probably around the time that I was introduced to the creature from Jekyll Island and G. Edward Griffin and his teachings about the Federal Reserve and monetary policy and how they're all cheating and basically stealing from us. The fact that the biggest, most insidious, most evil tax on the face of the planet is the inflation tax. And that is what they do when they print money and devalue our dollars. And so he's absolutely brilliant. And so I'm talking a lot about banking and what I'm learning about banking. And apparently that struck a chord with the conspiracy theorists and the alien people and all of the people. And one day after the show, my producer was like, "Hey, this woman called, and she's called a couple times, and she really wants you to call her back. She has some information she wants to give you, or whatever." So I'll never forget this. He gives me her number, and I'm driving home. And yes, I was on my phone. It was on speaker. Okay, so it's okay. But I call her on my drive home from the radio station, and it's Cookie from Alien Club. And Cookie is like, Shannon, you're on the right path. I love everything you're saying. I think like you're really beginning to like find out what's really going on in the world. And we think that you would be perfect for our Alien Club. And I'm like, okay. So I'm clearly, this is slightly odd. And so I'm like, okay, well, Cookie, tell me all about your Alien Club. And Cookie goes on to tell me that they have a club. They meet like once a week, and they talk about aliens, and they talk about alien encounters, and they share information about aliens. And then every so often they go to a lake and get in a boat and go to the middle of the lake and try to have alien encounters. And she's telling me all this, and I'm like, Cookie, you don't know how desperately I want to be in your alien club. Like, you don't know how badly I want to go and witness what happens at Alien Club. But I'm sorry, I think I'm going to have to decline. But it's a real thing. Like, people are really, really into this stuff. And it's been around for a very long time. It's been around since the 40s, the 50s. Remember War of the Worlds and the hoax and the scare that really terrified, millions upon millions of Americans, and that was in the 50s. So imagine what they could do today with the technology they possess in a situation of highly controlled media because of the wartime situation. They really could do a number on a lot of people. So let's just spread the word that the aliens are not coming, and we'll go from there. All right. Don't fall for the alien hoax. All right. We're going to go to break in just a minute, but first I do want to talk about one of our sponsors, and we are so thankful for our sponsors over at Rumble and some of the great features that they have at Rumble. Our collaboration here on the Shannon Joy Show with the boys over at Rumble is fantastic, and I appreciate them. And Rumble is actually offering a really cool product. It's Rumble Wallet. Now, as we move forward with lots of shenaniganizing about energy lockdowns, cryptocurrencies, new digital currencies, tokenization, they're going to crash our dollar, mess with our money. You know that they can mess with our money. They can cancel our accounts. They can freeze our accounts. They can decide what you're allowed to buy or sell or say or who you're supposed to support. They can do all of these things through control mechanisms that they would like to put in place. And big banks and financial institutions have total control, and they'll try to use it. So this is why financial independence matters now more than ever. They're introducing Rumble Wallet. So this is a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you will control your own money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. You can buy digital assets in one secure place. No permissions, no middlemen, no cancel button at all. And when you want to support the creators that you actually like and believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip your favorite content creators, securely, instantly, and without any interference. So this isn't a credit line, it's your wallet permanently. Yours to protect your future, yours to protect your family. And when the systems fail, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. So Rumble Wallet isn't about politics. It's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what is yours. So take control today, download the Rumble Wallet now, and step away from the big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, and true financial freedom. And so Annie is going to pop up the promo code, and I believe there's also a link that needs to be popped up into the live chat for Rumble Wallet. But if you guys are interested, make sure you use that QR code and the link. All right, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue the discussion here on the Shannon Joy Show. Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to thank one of my longtime friends, associates, my financial advisor, and a beloved sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, Dom Polano over at PCM and Associates. Dom Polano, as many of you know, was the very first Shannon Joy Show advertiser almost 12 years ago, and he's been with us ever since. I trust Don Polano. He manages some of my assets and my retirement fund, and he's offering his services to all of you. He can take clients anywhere in the country and even across the globe over at PCM and Associates. And as you guys know, it is so important today. There's so much volatility and chaos. You need a human being, a person that you trust, and a person that shares your values. And that's Don Polano at PCM and Associates. So if you are looking for someone to help you manage your retirement or have investment advice, please consider calling Don Polano over at PCM and Associates. His number, 1-800-536-1368. That's 1-800-536-1368. And of course, you can go to PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com to learn about all of his services and get in contact with his team. Again, so thankful for Don Polano at PCM and Associates. And I think that you are really going to appreciate his services. So that number again, 1-800-536-1368 for a financial advisor that you can trust. Hey everyone, I am so proud to recommend Shift Gold to this audience as the gold standard for metals purchasing and investing. I couldn't ask for a better partner to help people understand gold and silver and use them as strategic instruments to protect their family's financial future. Peter Schiff's teaching on markets has shaped my understanding of how economies grow and why they collapse. And I've used him as a critical source for my daily broadcast for over 10 years. The Shannon Joy Show audience already knows and loves Peter because he has been such a treasured educator over the years. He is now the preeminent source for rock-solid financial analysis around the world. And this is because he understands the immutable laws of natural markets and his stalwart unwillingness to veer from absolute truths regardless of economic fads and political pressures. Bottom line, he doesn't sell out. And that means a lot to me. I trust Shift Gold, and you can too. Go to shiftgold.com/joy today to get started. You'll find some of the lowest spot prices for gold and silver and critical information on protecting your retirement savings with a gold or silver IRA. That's www.shiftgold.com/joy. Hedge against the chaos with our friends over at Shift Gold. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Let's hit up the live chats for just a moment. We're live on YouTube, live on Substack, live on Twitter, and Rumble, among many other platforms, but we're keeping an eye on those platforms for the chatters. So if you have a question or a comment, please pop it in to the live chat, and Annie will present that to me on my chat here. But we have Jerry Howard 6007 on YouTube. Great to see you, Jerry. About faking an alien invasion. He said advanced Navy lasers can create plasma UFOs, advanced plasma hyperstealth technology, advanced skin shape-shifting in aircrafts, and spherical UFO drones, optic invisibility cloaking, and cameo technology. So yeah, I mean, there is technology there. They could really run a number on us with hoaxing us on the aliens. And we just have to keep our wits about us and just never be afraid. Again, what is the theme today? If there is an alien invasion, you will know it, okay? You won't need the internet or Matt Gaetz or Benny Johnson to tell you about the alien invasion happening here or there. If you see something up in the skies, well, okay, whatever. You can trust it or not trust it. But if there's a threat, you'll know it, okay? So let's keep calm and carry on. Sam Miller 123, we need to put on the full armor of God and rebuke Satan every day. Absolutely, for he goes to and fro on the earth seeking who he may devour. 100%. I absolutely agree. Sam Miller says YouTube has, they have people now sharing sightings and UFO sightings and interesting and unusual atmospheric behavior. Yeah, so they're going to push this. They're absolutely pushing this. A great comment from LT Oracle of Truth on the Rumble live chat. Demons are already here. Unfortunately, they are our leaders. Yeah, we have our hands full with our own leaders for sure. Eric Madsen 740 or 7470 on YouTube. Shannon, you have to go interview Brian Young or the guys from Do Dissidents. You guys would get along so well. That sounds super fun, and I'll take a look and see if they're around because I love meeting like-minded people for sure. So thank you so much, Eric Madsen, 7470. So let's look at this Whitney Webb piece. Unprecedented today. We're going to get to we're going to do the Whitney Webb piece and then we're going to get to Brownstone. But this is unprecedented. We have 3 national leaders speaking to their nations about instability and energy shocks and the war in Iran tonight on April Fool's Day. This is from Associated Press, breaking: the White House says President Trump will deliver a prime time address this evening, Wednesday, to update the public about the Iran war. In Australia, PM Anthony Albanese just gave a major address to his nation, broadcasted, in which he told Australians to cycle to work, take the train if they can in order to preserve fuel and prepare for the worst. He said, quote, the months ahead will not be easy. This is just the beginning. We also have from the UK, Keir Starmer, also with a full address to the nation. This is what he had to say. It is now clear the impact of this war will affect the future of our country. So today, I want to reassure the British people, no matter how fierce the storm, we are well placed to weather it. So they are now preparing their populations for impact. And this is why people are very concerned about the energy lockdowns of 2026 being even worse than the lockdowns of 2020. And I have a piece from Brownstone Institute that lays out all of the agenda items, from working from home to encouraging public transport to even more draconian measures. So we're going to look at that in a comparison between the COVID lockdowns of 2020 and the incoming lockdowns of 2026. I told you, I hate to say I told you so, but I told everyone, if you reelect the guy who locked you down in the first place and let him get away with it, he's going to do it again. And I said that in 2024, in 2025, and I'm still saying that today. And everything that I warned is coming to fruition. And I'm not happy about that. You shouldn't be happy about that, because I have 3 children and they need freedom and they need a future. And we're in for it now. Buckle up. So this is from Whitney Webb. I did want to address this because we now have, as Trump exits stage left, right? Alex Jones is now dumping Trump, and we're going to see more and more people on the right do that. There is a concern that a new form of controlled opposition is going to move in place. And these are people like Joe Kent, who loved him some Trump for the entirety of almost 10 years, had no problem with anything that Trump has ever done, supported him in every way. And then all of a sudden, just a few days ago, last week, decided to issue his resignation and then go on a media tour. So big interview with Tucker Carlson, who we also suspect might be controlled opposition. Also big interview with Sean Ryan, among others. Also a big Catholic conference in Washington, D.C., alongside people like Candace Owens and General Michael Flynn. So these are the circles that Joe Kent is running around in. And this is why Whitney Webb is very suspicious about his intentions. This is important. Listen up. She's gotten a lot of flack, by the way, for saying that she doesn't trust Joe Kent. And she was put on the spot about it to explain it. And so she wanted to kind of put it in writing. And this is what she had to say about Joe Kent. And I think it makes a lot of sense. She said, if the top counter-terror spook resigns to amplify rhetoric, even if it's mostly accurate. Remember the rule of a propagandist or a controlled opposition asset. 99% of what they say is going to be true. It is the 1% of the lie, the black pill, or that element that is important, right? They couldn't gain your confidence if they weren't telling mostly truths. So they're always going to lead with the truth. So she touches on that here. So even if this rhetoric is mostly accurate, so this is what she said. If the top counterterror spook resigns to amplify rhetoric, even if it's mostly accurate, that the current administration defines as indicative of domestic terrorism, and that spook was previously funded by Peter Thiel, the co-founder and chairman of the intelligence contractor working to establish domestic terror pre-crime in the US, I think that it's fair to be skeptical of him. And I absolutely agree. Peter Thiel's money is spread all around in a lot of these media outlets and some of these people who are now emerging as quote unquote whistleblowers. She goes on to say, Trump previously considered making a pre-crime program using AI to flag the social media accounts of Americans who displayed warning signs of violence or mental illness. Its main advocate was his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. There have been many recent media efforts to equate criticism of Israel to anti-Semitism and anti-Semitism to mental illness. Most social media giants are owned or funded by people who lied about their ties to Epstein and also contract for or are otherwise linked to the U.S. national security apparatus. This same apparatus, writes Whitney Webb, has expanded infrastructure for the supposed war on domestic terror with the blessing of every administration since George W. Bush. It is bipartisan, and they didn't just build it for no reason. They intend to use it at some point. Also, the idea that there's a civil war in the White House, as proposed by people like Nick Fuentes over the Iran war, only helps people like J.D. Vance, who is a technocrat. He is a techno-fascist built by Peter Thiel, built to go into the office of the presidency and install the technocracy. As you know, J.D. Vance, who is completely tied to Peter Thiel and Palantir. She goes on to say, she took a lot of BS in the past for my stances on COVID, on Trump being a neocon, on Epstein's intel ties, et cetera, way before it was popular to do so, but all which turned out to be correct. She goes on, I'm not here to be popular or tell you what you want to hear. I have been early on a lot of these stories that other people now take credit for after the fact. I don't care if you like me. I don't care about getting credit. I care that some of you wake the F up and stop swallowing every single psyop and controlled opposition character they throw at you without thinking twice about it. And this is in regards to Joe Kent. And I agree with Whitney Webb. I don't trust Joe Kent whatsoever. I have very little trust for people who have been in lockstep, blind supporters of this president in everything that he has done to this country over the past 10 years. Every betrayal, the lockdowns of 2020, Operation Warp Speed, the injection of 200 million Americans with absolute poison, the refusal to acknowledge that. So anyone who was in full support of this president with no questions whatsoever, I'm going to have a really hard time believing that they're just going to come out all of a sudden without really explaining their mindset and their principle on this. And so, yeah, I was skeptical about Joe Kent last week, and I am again. And Whitney Webb just solidified it for me. I see you striding conservative on the live chat. What do you guys think about that? Do you trust Joe Kent? Do you trust this new America First anti-Trump? You know that Alex Jones is now going to move to anti-Trump. He's going to try to corral the opposition. That's what they did during COVID-19. Those of us who stood up and spoke out and organized and marched and and did everything that we could to wrestle ourselves out of the lockdowns of 2020 and the forced shots in 2021, right? Like they brought us in and ingratiated themselves to us, I think, for the purposes of controlling our movement and controlling the things that we push out and the things that we present. It's very sophisticated. I really don't know how people, I mean, this is my full-time job to look at this stuff. Very difficult, very difficult. I think that you should just apply the Tate litmus test, the Tate test, T-A-T-E, Andrew and Tristan Tate. If the media person helped to launder the character or lie for Andrew and Tristan Tate and make them seem like good guys or rehabilitated guys or, you know, really cool guys that are really capturing the young male American demographic because they're so masculine. Like that's what they all did, right? If they laundered the character of the Tates, I would omit them, that media person, from your list of trusted sources. It's a very easy way. Exactly. Proctor Surf says Joe Kent is an intel lifer. Be very, very wary. Mama C 1996. I do not trust Kent. Live Free or Die 1913. Hell no, we do not trust Kent. CJP Rumble says he's a waste of oxygen. Okay. It's crazy. I see you, strident conservative. You're late today for the show. Where have you been? On the Rumble live chat. Did you mention U.S. Treasury approval of the Trump plan to phase out paper money for crypto and gold coins? Wow. Interesting. Interesting. They're moving us. They are moving us. Things are going to get very bumpy. Very, very bumpy. I'll stick with my gold coins. Crypto, absolutely not. And I don't think we should get rid of the dollar either. I agree with Catherine Austin Fitts on that. Interesting that he just said he's going to sign. You know, the signature of Trump is a death signature. It's a death signal. Anything he puts his signature on is going to go down. No silver, asks LT Oracle Truth. No, strident conservative, I did not see that, but we'll look at it for tomorrow for sure. Yup. Hey, on Substack, we have Karen. Hey, Karen. Oh, she says this. There really isn't that much sophisticated technology. It's a lot of mainly exaggerated claims and lies and Hollywoodisms. People don't know the basics of science, physics, and engineering. They forget the U.S. can't get missile tech past Mach 5, but pretend they're a Type 3 civilization. Utter lies. DEI did that to the U.S., kept us stunted and siloed compared to nations like Russia. Yet they pretend that the U.S. has no peers. It's laughable. It's a level of delusion, except the joke is on us, we the people who live here. Karen, that's a great statement. And I don't disagree with you. I think a lot of the technology assertions are exaggerated and outright lies. And in a lot of ways, I don't think they have the technology. And that's where we, the people, have a lot of power. And we can fight back. They want to give us the illusion of strength and power, mass surveillance, and that they can do anything. But really, they can't. And we've got a lot of warring factions out there battling it out for who's going to control the 21st century, 2000 and 2030 and beyond. And our goal is that they rip each other apart before they get to us, right? So hopefully they'll take each other out. It's like a gang war. It's like a cartel war that's happening. That's the way I would see it. Gold coins or gold tokens, said Mark the Regan. Well, don't let go of your physical gold. Don't let go of your physical silver. I'm not. Things are going to be changing very quickly, and it's going to be accelerating. And so I'm not trying to make predictions here. I'm just trying to prepare as much as I can and hold on. But this is where we're going. We're going to finish off the show with this piece from Brownstone Institute, which I'm very happy they are now beginning to report. They were a little Trumpy for a while there. And, believed that Trump was going to usher us into the golden age. And I told them that's not happening. He's pumping and dumping. He's a Trojan horse, and he's going to drive the nation off a cliff. That's his mandate, and that's what his puppets have installed him to do. But I understand that a lot of people have a hard time believing that or being that cynical. But I think at this point it's very obvious what they're doing. And it is, lockdowns, energy lockdowns incoming. And this is a really good piece. I think Jeffrey Tucker actually wrote it. And he said this, remembering how the COVID lockdowns began. All right, we're going to have to go back in time and remember what they did with COVID lockdowns. And that's why this piece is really, really important. And on energy lockdowns. And so, if you go back in time, it was a soft and slow drumbeat, writes Jeffrey Tucker. It began in late January 2020 with a growing amount of fear and panic. And then it increased in tempo, right? A faster tempo. And it ramped up over several weeks. The US president, then the UK prime minister resisted extreme reactions. Most governments did so as well, and most public authorities. But it was the Australians, remember, it was in Italy, and it was the Australians that really began to push the boundaries. The drum pounding became ear-splitting in late February, faced with an incredible barrage. Finally, Boris Johnson and Donald Trump gave in after Jeffrey Tucker got in his car and drove to Mar-a-Lago. Remember that? And convinced Donald Trump to lock down the country. We covered that yesterday on the SJ show. So they gave into the pressure and they got out in front of the nation and lowered the boom. Stay home, essential versus unessential, no flights, no parties, stop your consumerist ways. Just sit in your home alone by yourself, hunker down. 2 weeks to slow the spread, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. They promised us, right? They both eventually came to reject this choice. I don't think Trump ever rejected it, but whatever. The experts, institutions were everywhere seizing the moment, right? The CCP, the WHO, CDC, Imperial College, London, Fauci, Birx, CNN, New York Times, New York Post, you name it. All of the conservative media, all of the liberal left media, Donald Trump and the Republicans, and all of the Democrats. It was the first time in history I witnessed Democrats and Republicans agreeing on everything. And that was the scariest worldwide deadly pandemic ever in the history of the world. And the entire world went mad, absolutely mad. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. I don't know about you. In the lives of my children. I mean, our lives are permanently split to this day from our life before COVID and our life after COVID. And the quality of life, I think the quality of our products and services, I think everything about American life has been degraded and continues to be degraded since 2020. It's not over. And I told you it wouldn't be over because you can't put the guy in power who did it to you in the first place. And that's what we did. That was our fatal mistake. We had an opportunity to go down a different path in this country, and we chose wrong. We chose to put all of our hope and faith in Donald Trump, at least from the right and from the medical freedom community perspective. And it was the wrong choice. And now here we are on April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2026, 6 years later, near to the day. And this new attempted lockdown seems to be going the same way in this piece in Brownstone Institute. Not concerning infectious disease, but using energy use. Isn't it remarkable, he writes, how the official recommended methods of managing these completely different realms bear so much in common. They both come down to restricting your liberty, rationing your consumption, redirecting your attention, and shouting down critics. The Iran war kicked off the price spike, but it was uncanny how our machinery was so quickly put in place to instruct everyone of what to do. The panic about how to respond is intensifying. The crisis is without precedent, they say. We have to try new approaches, dramatic ones. Suddenly, the institution called the International Energy Agency now holds prominence in world media. Founded in 1974, it's an NGO associated with OPEC. It's not hard, but only soft power, like the World Health Organization, with whom the IEA shares a similarly authoritative branding. There's also a new Fauci, too. Dr. Fatih Birol, he names him here. And basically, it's the exact same situation with COVID-19. All of the same protocols are being pushed out in all of the same countries. All of the same leaders are addressing their nations. Not all of them are the same, but the US leader, the Australian leader, the UK leader, leaders in India, and so on and so forth. And it's continuing to come. And what are they saying? All the same things. Work from home, reduce highway speed limits, encourage public transport, alternate private car access to roads in large cities in different days, increase car sharing and adopt efficient driving practices, efficient driving for road commercials. They're shutting down the movement of citizens. They are shutting down the movement of citizens. That's what they're doing. Airports, roads, cars. That's where they're going to lock you down. They want to divert LPG use from transport. They want to preserve propane for essential needs. So you see essential versus non-essential language here. Avoid air travel where alternative options exist. This is probably why we're seeing the chaos in the airports. They are acclimating us, skyrocketing flight prices, by the way, skyrocketing flight prices, and chaos in the airports. They are deploying, as I mentioned yesterday on the show, ICE agents permanently into airports across the country. Where possible, switch to modern cooking solutions. Unbelievable. Encourage electronic or electric cooking and other modern options? Absolutely not. I hate electric stoves. They're the worst. Leverage flexibility with petrochemical feedstocks. I mean, these are just, the headlines we're seeing: conserving water in Denver, brownouts and blackouts, proposals to dark skies proposals in New York City and the state of New York. So some of these things we are not going to be able to resist, but many of these things, and thank you to Brownstone Institute for this piece. I'm going to end with this because I think that it's hopeful. And this is the attitude I think that we need to adopt moving forward. Understanding, number one, that this energy crisis is not an accident. It was created by the people who are going to stand up in front of their populations and tell them to tighten their belts, hunker down, lock down, preserve energy, and experience short-term pain for long-term gain. All right. They already have the flatten the curve rhetoric going. How many times have you heard short-term pain for long-term gain? That's what Donald Trump is going to talk about tonight. When you see these leaders, you have to remember that they did this to you on purpose. They want this to happen. And now they're using the crisis that they created on purpose to lock you down and destroy your life and the life of your family. They want to destroy your wealth. They want to plunder our countries. They want to seize the land, and they want to take it all. The question is, are we going to give it to them? That's the only question that you have to answer today. Are you going to allow top-down officials, profligate spenders, vicious predators, corrupt politicians take from you your liberty, your freedom, your prosperity? That's the question that you ask today. And remember everything that they did to us during the lockdowns of 2020. Never forget that, because we are going to move into something that I think is going to be worse. Something that we can still survive within. We can still win. We won in many ways through COVID, and we can win again. But we have to start with this mindset, and not one of fear of aliens or UFOs or nuclear bombs or the next crisis. Never again. And this is from the piece in Brownstone. We seem to be headed into another lockdown situation under a different excuse, a different goal, but the same methods and protocols. People must suffer so elite powers can have a free hand in redesigning global functioning to keep us safe, keep us fed, and keep us warm. Bullshit. They didn't write that in Brownstone, but I added it. After all, the CCP, for whom Dr. Birol has long consulted, and Imperial College London, that showered him with emoluments, points the way. This is also 6 years later, and here's the good news. We know the game. Millions do. The courts have ruled against the censorship. Few authors are willing to step forward to defend the COVID period. The perpetrators are in hiding. The level of resistance is much more intense than it once was, and we have many new institutions that reflect the learning that took place during COVID lockdowns, right? We have much more to do. We have no justice for COVID lockdowns. We don't have truth about COVID lockdowns. We don't have the COVID shots off the market. We have much to do in gaining justice, but at least we are in some ways holding the line. They continue, but should new lockdowns hit, and I think they will, make sure that you resist. He says, don't forget to wash your hands, wear your mask, and accept your jab. Whoops, we mean minimize your gas consumption, use your microwave and not your gas stove, regard yourself as essential or unessential, and take no unessential trips. Even if they don't manage to pull it off this time, we know the game. And from my perspective, we will not comply. In any way that you can, begin to exercise that resistance muscle. Peaceful disobedience, peaceful noncompliance, refusal to comply with unjust laws or mandates or edicts or recommendations. Just say no. And you will find your people here on the Shannon Joy Show. Whatever they try to do to us, we will meet here every day at 12 p.m. Eastern Time to figure it out and to figure out ways to survive and thrive, to share ideas and to listen to voices who are truth tellers, break out of the two-party political paradigm, break out of the fake right-wing news culture that propped up this president for so many years and is now crying crocodile tears as he falls apart like we knew he would and destroys the nation. Let's build a new movement. You'll find those people here on the SJ Show. And as Zen Woman says on the live chat, God bless this mess. It is a mess. It is an absolute mess. But we are in it together. And I take so much comfort and so much joy in meeting with you every single day. Zen Woman, great show as usual. Hope you have more Brownstone highlights. They help us thinking people. Absolutely. I'm thrilled. Listen, Brownstone, I haven't used them in a while, like I said, because they believed that Trump was going to save us. They believed that he was going to usher in the golden age. And I just really didn't believe it. And so but they're getting back to the good stuff, which I really appreciate. And so, as you guys know, I'm very nimble. And when people are in a truth space, I'm going to align with them or institutions or publications. And when they move into like the crazy political Trump humping political worship space, I'm going to move away and I'm not going to use them for, source material. It's very simple and it's not personal. It's just business. And, when they come back to the truth, well, then I'm happy to use them again. So yeah, Chronozone 777, 15-minute cities, WEF. Yeah, this is all about movement and transportation. Your car, the bus, the airplane, it's getting you out of your cars and out of movement and moving us into what they hope to move us into, which are those 15-minute cities where they can surveil and control us. So we just, okay, strident conservative. Sorry, turns out the Treasury report was an April Fool's joke. So Trump is not signing an executive order to get rid of the dollar and replace it with crypto and gold coins. That was an April Fool's joke. Don't post anything today. I need to get off the Twitter for the rest of the day because you don't know what's going to be true and what's going to be real out there. Kind of like it is every day on Twitter, to be honest. But anyway. Ooh, Waynamal. That's a new face on the live chat. Great to see you. Bongino, Benny Johnson, Mel K, and Barry Cunningham all muted me for asking questions about 9/11. Okay. Well, I don't mind you asking questions about 9/11. Live Free or Perish. Great to see you on the live chat. Brand new chatter on Rumble. Love to see new chatters. Hey, Silver Country, by the way, thank you so much for your tips. I so appreciate that, and it's so sweet. Apparently you can tip. If you guys like what I have to say, you can throw me a tip right here on Rumble, and you can do it through Rumble Wallet too. And I've noticed, Silver Country, that you've been sending me those tips, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And here's your comment. If Trump says anything tonight about energy lockdowns, the stock markets will collapse. Well, not to be hyperbolic, but I could see that happening. Everything is built on a mountain of lies. And a lot of that, dates back to the removal of the US currency and the dollar from the gold standard, which set in place the profligate spending, the debt and deficit spending. And so now we're almost at the point of no return. And when you're almost at the point of no return, that's when they do some scary things. That's when they drop bombs and hoax alien invasions and lock you down for pandemics and so on and so forth. So we just got to be prepared for it. Okay. All right, everyone. It's wonderful to be with you today. Appreciate all of you. And make sure you sign up for the SJ Show. Go to theshannonjoy.com. That's theshannonjoy.com and sign up for the SJ Show daily e-news blast. That's how I stay connected to you. And of course, please remember to support all of our sponsors. We so appreciate our sponsors. Thank you to PCM and Associates. Thank you to The Wellness Company. Thank you to our friends over at Schiff Gold and Peter Schiff. And of course, our friends over at the Satellite Phone Store, sat123.com. That's sat123.com. All the time, JOY for 10% off everything you buy. And with energy lockdowns incoming, there is nothing more important for your family than a generator. They have a whole series of in-home generators that can protect your families anytime they try to turn the lights out on you. So they have small generators that power certain portions of the house, and then they have massive systems, solar generators as well, or solar panel power generators. Everything there is 10% off when you use that Joy promo code. So 10% off, JOY, sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. All right, guys, thanks for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.